What's up, guys? Welcome to the 17th episode of the Trackside Girls podcast, season 2. Um, did you just try to do the numbers again?
I did not, because there's no, it would be like this and then like this.
But, um, so we mentioned in our last episode, NASCAR was split up, um, from we had Cup and Trucks go to St. Louis, and then we had Portland, with the Xfinity series. And so we're gonna get into it. With the trucks, um, it was kind of dicey with their race day. First time Majeski got pole, but they had a 3-hour rain delay, um, which they were racing on Saturday, which was also the same day as the Xfinity race. With the rain delay, the truck race was happening during the Xfinity race.
Let me tell you what, it was hard to watch two races at the same time. I kid you not. I had my iPad with the truck race, and then I had the Xfinity race on the TV. Oh God, I was confused. It was a struggle trying to watch both to see like what was gonna happen in both of them. It was a struggle. I will say that.
uh,
I was out, so I had the truck race on my phone, and then I was had the Xfinity race at the TV, the place I was at.
I didn't do that. I just went straight Xfinity race, so so
I watched I watched both, and it was dicey for sure.
but the race, the first caution happened on lap 11. Luke Finhouse spun from 25th. Ty Majeski got stage 1. Colby Howard, who's running pretty well, loses the right front and goes into the wall from 5th. Ty Majeski sweeps the stages, wins stage 2. Salas spins, makes contact with the inside wall on lap 130. But ultimately, all right, who chose him? Somebody got him.
Molly did.
Corey Heim won the truck race at St. Louis. So Molly's pick was correct. But with this race, it was Andreas Perez de Lara's debut, and he got a top 10 in his first ever truck start. So pretty big news. Pretty awesome result for him. But yes, Corey Heim, our boy, won the truck race at St. Louis. I don't know if we mentioned this or not, but Clint Boyer is actually going to be driving the 7 truck in Nashville. I can't remember if we ever brought that up or not.
I think the news just came out after we filmed the last episode.
They just Spire Motorsports had just announced after we got done filming that Clint Boyer was driving in Nashville, which that'll be funny in itself altogether because it's Clint Boyer and tricky for
Yeah,
him, I feel like.
yeah,
It'll
we'll
it'll
see.
it'll it'll be fun to watch.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely going to be interesting.
Yeah, well,
Um, so going about, gosh, probably 1,000 miles west, um, out to Portland, for the Xfinity race. Um, Sam Mayer won the pole, which we thought like he was gonna do well in general, because like he's run fairly well at road courses. Um, but before the race even begins, AJ Allmendinger actually had to swap helmets, um, due to, we believe, his radio wasn't working. Um, and
Oh,
one,
first AJ had to go to a backup car because he crashed out in
yes,
qualifying.
yep, he did. Coming out of the final turn, right? I think it is.
Yeah,
Yeah, so he
think
had to go
so.
to a backup car. He originally had Circle on the car, and he had to go to his backup car, which his backup car was his Sonoma car. Um, that was that was his Celsius car. So in his interview, like before the race, he was like, I don't even know what to call it. Like it was Circle, my Circle Chevy. Now it's my Celsius Chevy, and I kind of feel bad because I wrecked the Circle one, and they were supposed to be the sponsor for this week, and then so
And didn't he say that the circle one, that was one race that they were doing circle with, and that was the
I
one
think
race
so.
they were doing it with?
I think so.
And he didn't even, yeah, I thought he said that. I thought he said circle was this was the one race that I was supposed to run circle, and I couldn't even do that because I wrecked out. I was like, nice.
Yep. So unfortunate for those sponsors, but hey, um, but yes, he had to go to a backup car. Um, you start the race like SVG Shane Van Gisbergen gets into Sam Mayer, spins him on the first lap in the first turn. Riley Herbst runs away with the lead. So he takes the lead coming out onto lap one. Like there's a lot of like lap three. You had Kyle Weatherman go off the course. Um, Lap 19, you had Haley Deegan have to go to pit road. The team goes under the hood, so she's having issues. Lap 13, Jeb Burton has suspension issues and brings his car in. Justin Allgaier won stage one. Lap 32, Sammy Smith spins on the inside of turn 12. Then lap 35, which is what a lot of people are making memes out of this. Shane Van Gisbergen goes off course from third and eases back onto the track into sixth place. But people are using that clip and making a joke and was like, man, let's go see what's going on over here in St. Louis. Just like, what? Have you guys seen that clip? It's
No.
like, it takes the clip of him like veering off track into the grass and coming back on, and it has like the I guess caption at the top of the video, and it says, "Let's go see what these blokes are doing over here in St. Louis."
That's funny though.
But unfortunately for one of my picks, lap 36, Anthony Alfredo cuts a front left, and has to go into the pits, which I believe he was having problems with his sway arms, so unfortunately not just tire issues for him. Another one of my picks and one of Molly's. Lap 46, Parker Kligerman and Brian Sieg go off course in the same turn, and Sieg ends up spinning in the dirt. You have lap 49, Matt DiBenedetto ends up stopped on track. Like this race was not like the end result wasn't bad for Ryan Sieg Racing, but just the journey for them to get to the end of this race was not the best.
Honestly, the Xfinity race was a hot mess.
Correct.
Feel bad for all the junior motorsports because they kind of all did terrible. Yeah, the Xfinity race was a hot mess, whereas the truck race was not so much of a hot mess because there was hardly cautions. But Xfinity, it was disaster.
But Justin Allgaier ends up winning stage 2. Lap 55, Sage Karam gets into the rear of Josh Balicki, spinning him in turn 1. Some of the like biggest like clips that I've seen on social media. So within this, Jesse Love and Sage Karam end up having hood damage. But the biggest one is Jesse Love's pit crew member just full on throwing his entire body weight onto the hood of Jesse Love's car. Like, before Jesse even comes to a stop, he's in the air ready to land on this car. Like,
It's funny. My dad saw that part and he was like, "That's a man you want to have on your team that's just full force gonna yeet himself on your truck." But I would have paid to see Jesse's reaction when that happened because I'm sure it was probably a little bit terrifying.
I wish he had an in-car camera so we could see, like, at least the reaction of his eyes. Like, just as...
That's a
Everybody's
man.
making,
That's a man to have on your team who just yeets himself on top of your car.
and everybody's making like wrestling memes to it.
Mm-hmm. With Randy Orton is the one that I've seen.
Randy Orton doing RKO, doing the frog splash.
Gosh, it's
Bunch of wrestling memes.
It's so funny.
It's fun. It's funny though.
But there was another caution on lap 62 due to Haley Deegan having a flat tire, and the tire carcass comes off the car, so obviously debris on the track, so they throw a caution. Lap 66, Chandler Smith has an issue and significant hood damage, but the caution comes out for the my heart breaking. That's what the caution was for. Because the two Alpha Prime cars get together, spin, and I see Brennan Poole, and I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, it's them two. They spun. Like, Blaine's fine. No, he was not fine. He tried to get around them and got tagged, and both him and Brandon Jones went into the tire barrier. But Brandon Jones got the worst of it because Brandon went under the tire barrier. They had to pull out they had to get the trucks and pull him out from under the tire barrier. Luckily, for Blaine, there was only a little bit of damage on the passenger side of his car, but he was able to back up and pull away. But yeah, like, I guess the Alpha Prime cars were just trying to take each other out. Like, I don't know what's going on there. But lap 73, Sam Mayer gets into the tire barrier, cuts his left rear, and he was running third. He was doing so well. He only had 2 laps to go. But on the final lap, Ryan Truex ended up spinning. But the winner of the race, the Xfinity race, he gained his first career win in the Xfinity Series, Shane Van Gisbergen. The way he celebrated, something I don't think you've ever seen any of the NASCAR drivers do, but he basically drifted around the entire track. Which I feel like that's part of his skill set with being in the supercars. I feel like those cars are a lot more prone to potentially drifting. So he was showing off a lot of his skill with that. And whenever he got out of the car, he actually kicked, he signed and kicked a rugby ball into the crowd. So I guess that's his like signature thing now, I guess, when he wins. Because, you know, you have Ross with the watermelon, Daniel with the taco piñata, and then so I guess now Shane's is kicking a rugby ball. I don't know exactly what they're called, because I don't follow rugby, so I don't know anything about rugby, but that's what it was. It was a rugby ball, okay? But he actually gave the flag to a kid and actually brought the kid out onto the track to take pictures with the flag. And there was actually pictures circulating on, I want to say, Twitter about like a picture of the kid who caught the rugby ball. So there were pictures posted online and showing that it was a kid who ended up getting the ball. But some news for the Xfinity Series. Parker Retzlaff is actually going to be driving the 62 for Beard Oil Motorsports, I think that's the full name of their team, at Daytona in August in the Coke Zero Sugar race. And also Anthony Alfredo is going to be in the 62 car for Talladega in October. But something that came out after our last episode, after we had filmed, is the verdict on the Austin Hill and Cole Custer issue that happened last week in Charlotte. And Austin Hill was fined $25,000 and docked 25 driver points for that. For what did they call it? Something to have to do with like the driver code of conduct.
He just completely broke that rule by wrecking out another person for no reason, because like they watched the replay and Cole did nothing to Austin. I mean, I was there. Cole never touched Austin. Cole never did anything to Austin, and then Austin just intentionally wrecks him out conveniently after Riley was wrecked out of the race. That's not a coincidence. I'm sorry. You just didn't want the Stewart-Haas cars to finish.
Like, so obviously deliberately wrecking somebody is a big no-no in NASCAR, okay?
Not a smart idea.
And during during the Xfinity race, they were interviewing Austin, or they said something about Austin. Austin pretty much said, like, I don't know why Cole didn't get a penalty.
I saw that interview.
I don't know. Maybe because he didn't touch you at all during the Charlotte race. He didn't do anything to you, and you just decided you wanted to wreck him out? Like, I don't get it. I don't care. I don't know. I stand by the fact I don't like Austin Hill. I've never liked Austin Hill, and that just proves it. And I'm glad I didn't get a picture with him at Charlotte. And I only like your teammate. So it's fine.
For the Cup race, going all the way back over to St. Louis, Michael McDowell got pole. I was jumping up and down. I was hoping Austin Cindric was going to get pole, because, like I said, he's my favorite driver in the Cup Series. But he was so close. Michael McDowell just came out there and beat him for pole. But as for the race, on lap 4, Cody Ware and John Hunter-Nemechek make contact and spin. Then again, lap 18, Cody Ware and Derek Kraus spin in turn 2.
That should tell you that Cody Ware just sucks. Should not be racing.
Like,
it's terrible.
He's got a whole bunch of controversy on his name to start with, but like, for his first race back, it's not looking good for him.
I don't even know why they put him back in the car.
Because his name's on it.
I don't care.
His family owns the team. That's probably the only reason.
Look, I'm sorry, but there's some people's, I don't care if your name is on the car. I don't care if your family is in it. There's some people who should not be racing, aka Cody Ware, because he normally crashes out anyways. There's just some people who should not be racing, whether their family members own it. That's all I gotta say about that.
But Christopher Bell wins stage 1. lap 108, Truex loses a left rear. Lap 113, Josh Berry loses a left front and gets into the wall, bringing out the caution. Lap 141, the Kyles get into it. Larson and Busch make contact and crash, which I believe Larson was able to continue, but Kyle Busch was out of the car, and his interview, he was, which honestly isn't very off-brand for the Kyle Busch that like you'd expect. But anyway, Christopher Bell sweeps the stages, wins stage 2. So we thought that he was gonna be one of the front runners of this race, because he had essentially dominated this race so far.
I mean, he was for a while.
But lap 221, Christopher Bell complains about engine failure. Couldn't tell you what happened. People, we believe that he may have missed a shift and then just like completely like over revved the engine and just screwed everything up. Then you get down to the final laps. I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, I'm like, man, Austin's running second, Ryan Blaney's running first. I want Austin to catch Ryan, but I don't think he has enough time. Then, here we are, coming to the white flag. Ryan Blaney runs out of gas. You could not script this. Ryan had the win in the bag, and he runs out of gas.
On the final lap.
Causing Austin Cindric, who was in second, to capitalize on it and get his second win in the Cup Series. You could not script it.
Ain't no one picked Austin Cindric.
Like, he's my favorite driver and I didn't even pick him. Like, because I didn't think he was gonna do very well. Like, that's why I ended up going with probably the worst running Penske car. Because Joey was nowhere to be found for most of it. I mean, he ended up finishing like 5th, I think. But for the rest of it, where was he at? What were you gonna say?
I don't know. I feel like it's so hard to pick people now because, because sometimes they have their good days and then sometimes they have their crap days, and it is so, like, it's not easy trying to pick people who you think are gonna do good because it's so hard. It's so unpredictable because you think people do good and then they run like crap. It's hard. It's not easy. It's a struggle. Especially, because I'm, thinking about it. Like, road courses, it's hard because Chase Elliott used to be the road course king. He ain't no more because since then, other people have won on the road course. It is so hard because you think they're going to do good and then they don't.
I mean, I know the next gen has been in play since 2022, but even 2 seasons later, it's still like a wild card. Like, there are still so many drivers out there that could go out and win races. And I think that's one of the better things of this new car, that a lot of people don't like the new car, which fair, like, everybody has their own opinion. But it's brought, like, good racing. Like, a lot of people say, like, yeah, there's a lot of races that end up being boring. Like, there's no really action. That's because a lot of people expect crashes in NASCAR. that's kind of like one of the bigger quote unquote myths, I guess, in NASCAR.
Well,
But if you compare it, so the average amount of overtakes in a Formula One race is probably like 200. Probably not average, but like you can expect like maybe. Okay. Compare it to a NASCAR race. They can get close to 2,000 overtakes, which, to be fair, the field is twice the size. But still, it's like part of me like hates like comparing them, because like Formula 1 is literally about who can build the best car, whereas NASCAR is you have all the same equipment. The only difference is really engines and body shape. Because with NASCAR, you have to buy all of your parts from NASCAR. They're all the same.
yeah.
Like,
We'll go with all the cars are exactly the same. We'll go with that, because that ain't true.
well, they're supposed to be. Okay, they're supposed to be.
And they ain't. And everybody knows that they ain't. Especially since the only cars that are running good is Joe Gibbs Racing and Hendrick Motorsports. But to be honest, Hendrick Motorsports is kind of going in the dumps lately, because where's Kyle Larson? Where's Chase Elliott? Where's Willie B? So far, the only Hendrick car that's been running good is Alex.
Which is ironic. Because everybody craps on Alex.
Exactly. I'm not a Hendrick Motorsports fan. I'm an Alex Bowman fan.
At least not anymore.
And
because he used
what,
to...
Alex?
No, a Hendrick fan.
Not anymore.
You gave that
I'm
up.
an Alex.
I was saying,
I'm
you
an
gave
Alex
that up
Bowman
whenever
fan.
you stopped being a Chase Elliott fan.
That's one facts. And that's been 3 years, 2 years.
Bro,
I stopped.
that was a couple months ago.
Well, technically, to be fair, I actually stopped liking Chase because my mom and I just talked about it. I technically stopped liking Chase to 2022.
Okay. Like, but you
Like,
officially declared it after our Atlanta episode.
no, I officially declared it after the second Kansas race.
After what happened.
When I could just cry, when I just cried out of anger. Not even cried, I just kind of stood there and I was like, alright, this is the end of that? No. Which is funny that Alex is the only one running good. I would have thought they wanted their golden boy Willie B to run good. Because, they're trying to get him to win a championship this year, but it ain't working out for him very well. Because, let's be honest, he's making everybody mad on the track and he ain't making no friends. Since him and Aaron broke up. That's why he's trying to wreck out Blaney all the time. I said what I said.
But
He's right there.
anyway, Ty Gibbs almost ran over his cousin, who is his front tire changer during a pit stop during the race.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. I don't know. Honestly, I wouldn't doubt it with the way that he was holding the wheel gun. Like, it almost looked like whoever was on the other end of that hose, like, yanked him out of the way. Like, just so... Because, like, everybody's like, oh my gosh, he's a ninja. But, like, I don't see... Like, the way that he moved does not look natural. So, like, the only thing I could think of is, like, with the process of him trying to jump out of the way, but whoever's on the other end of that hose also yanked him out of the way. So, like, but yeah, cousins. Like, another Gibbs, his front tire changer, and almost got hit by Ty Gibbs, his cousin.
I think it's funny that Joe Gibbs was the one that posted that video and they said, just cousin love, and I'm like, Yes, because running over your cousin is cousin love right there.
And then Ty's Instagram post today that said, "Brother, get out the way."
Yeah. I was like, that's cute.
Get this. You know, sometimes we kind of crap on Rick Ware Racing, okay? But Justin Haley finished 9th in that race. He was running top 15 for a solid amount of that race. Like, Justin Haley might be single-handedly bringing back Rick Ware Racing. I'm not saying he's going winning caliber. I'm not saying that. Don't, like, I'm not saying Justin Haley's going to go out there and win races. But he might be able to keep Rick Ware Racing off the bottom of the leaderboard.
Justin's been getting a couple of top 10s at a couple of races.
He's running really well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to be fair, Justin is not a bad guy. I mean, he's pretty decent at driving the car because even when he was an Xfinity and then he went over and he drove like kind of part like some races for them, even for Cup, he ran decently good because it was Talladega when he was doing part-time for them and he ended up finishing like second. He almost won the race, but then something happened and he didn't. I don't remember because it was when he was an Xfinity.
Even whenever he was running for Colleague last year, he was getting
Yeah.
decent results. Like, it wasn't, which I feel like Colleague is a little better equipment than Rick Ware. But I Justin Haley's not a bad driver. Like, I feel like he just needs equipment that he can work with. Like, Rick Ware isn't the best equipment, you know, but now they're one of, actually, now we got RFK, Rick Ware, Penske. Is that it? Is that all the Fords? Now that Stewart Haas is disbanding?
RFK, Penske,
Rick Ware.
Front row.
and Rick Ware.
Front row. Okay.
Front row. It's 4.
So if these charters break up and go to Chevy or Toyota, Ford's got to find somewhere to make stuff better. Like, obviously you can go to the top team, Penske, and Fords, or front row, or even RFK. RFK's doing fantastic, but you got to help out the little guy. Like, you can't just like already help the guys that are doing fantastic. You gotta make you're only as strong as your weakest link. And that weakest link is Rick Ware and Fords. So
Unfortunately.
it's a good idea to help Rick Ware be better, to make all the Fords stronger. So we'll see how that goes. But yes, he finished 9th at St. Louis. And Carson Hocevar, our boy, finished 8th at St. Louis, which is actually where his Cup career started. He was in the car for Corey LaJoie, who was in the car for Chase Elliott last year. And at that time, I believe he had only done 2 Xfinity races. So he jumped in the Cup car, ran really well up until he lost a brake rotor, and it ended his race ultimately. But this year, fantastic. Finished 8th, which I believe is this his career best finish?
Yes, it is.
Like, because I think his last one was 10th. So
Yeah.
now his career best finish is 8th in the Cup Series. And he is only a rookie. Um, and it's looking pretty good for that Rookie of the Year status.
I mean, Zane also actually finally got to finish
Mhm.
this race, and he finished P19th. So that's good for him, especially the year that he's had. He's had a pretty
mm,
bad year, which
yeah.
makes which makes me sad for him because
I mean, now he's already not going to be in that car next year in 71.
because Michael McDowell's going to it. Which I feel bad for Zane because Zane has so much potential,
So,
just not right now.
I mean, so that brings me to even more theories. So, Front Row has confirmed that they are gaining another charter for 2025. So, they're going to be running 3 cars. We've it's we already know about the speculation that Trackhouse is trying to get one of those charters from Stuart Haas. So, say they do get that charter. Zane has a car. That's that's how you look at it. Because Zane is a Trackhouse driver that is currently on loan to Spire. But who would go to Front Row? They got 3 cars. Probably keeping Todd Gilliland. That's
Mhm.
unless he finally decides to move to Toyota, somewhere. Because his dad runs a Toyota truck team, so that would be my only guess if he were to leave Front Row. Um, is to try to find a Toyota team, but I don't see that happening. Um, so who takes the other 2 seats at Front Row? Everybody, I feel like Riley Herbst. He's got history with Front Row. He's driven the 36 car, and other. How where did he finish at Kansas? Did he finish? I can't remember.
I don't know, but I have a thing where Riley also might be going.
Okay.
So my dad saw this and
Mm-hmm.
he sent it to me. At this race that they just raced, Tyler Reddick on the back of his car had a sticker for Terrible Herps on it. Because the sticker's right there, and then if you zoom in, it says Terribles on it. So Riley could be going to 2311 also.
I mean, he is another monster driver. So I mean
Yeah,
that
my
would.
dad my dad saw that, and he was like, Tyler Reddick had a Terribles on it. He was like, Riley's family is terrible. And I was like, yeah. And sure enough, he sent me that, and I was like, that is definitely their logo.
I mean, there is speculation that 2311 is trying to get one of those charters, so they could upgrade to 3 cars.
Look, I
But
love
see, there's
Riley.
also rumors that if 2311 gets a charter, that potentially Corey could go,
Corey Heim, yeah.
or he could go to the Cup Series.
Because for Nashville, he's running the 50 car for 2311.
So I have 2 things. For Corey, okay, he could go to 2311, but it is possible that I mean I don't know how long John Hunter's contract is at Legacy, but like, could Corey come in and take that seat? Because as of right now, John Hunter is not doing great.
I knew he wasn't going to do it. The minute they switched over to Toyota and they said that John Hunter, dude, Noah could hardly drive that car. There's no way that they just thought bringing John Hunter and he could drive the car. He can't even do that. But also, the legacy cars aren't as good
I
as
mean,
everybody's.
Eric's the only one that's doing great in the legacy car.
Talking about Jones?
Yeah.
I mean, he does okay-ish. He's not as great, but he definitely is a lot higher on the board than his teammate. Like, even when Jimmy runs it. But Jimmy has said multiple times that he struggles trying to figure out how to even drive the car because he doesn't know. I mean, Jimmy himself has said he doesn't even know how to fix the car to make it better. But
I mean,
it's also, I still think that they're all still like, because obviously we've had these Gen Z we've had these cars for like how long now? This is what, the third the third year we've had.
Gen Z cars? Is that what you just said?
You know what I mean?
Next gen? I'm
Yeah,
pretty
those
sure
ones.
I think they're technically like Gen 8. I think that's what they call them.
Well, no matter. Whatever the freaking cars are called. I clearly am just on a, like, they're always changing them and they're always trying to make them like to be better, but like everybody's still trying to learn how to drive them and like what to do to fix them. So they brought them in without really knowing what they were doing, honestly. They're still trying to fix them every day.
But yeah, so there's a lot of speculation. Hopefully we'll find out something here in the next couple of weeks. But
from Bob's tweet, it sounded like Storehouse or whoever's going to take like the Xfinity side of Storehouse is going to keep the Xfinity team. Because from Bob's tweet, it says, more than likely, I think the SHR Xfinity team will end up under some of the current SHR leadership next year.
So I heard some rumors, because I hear things. I'm in with some people. That apparently, the Xfinity cars are going to be rebranded to Haas CNC. So like that company that they have. So the Xfinity cars would stay under Haas, but so they would still be running, but all of the Cup stuff is going to be done away with. So, which makes a lot of sense, because if you look at all of the announcements, the tweets, the things like that, like, nobody specifically says the Xfinity series, their stuff. They don't talk about the Xfinity side of Stewart Haas. They've only talked about the Cup stuff. So it makes it, like, with those rumors, it makes sense that the stuff that Haas would still be running the Xfinity cars, because there's no information out there about it. Nobody has confirmed that the Xfinity stuff is also going to be done away with. So, so it could be possible, which, in reality, if the Xfinity series is done, if those two cars are done away with, Ford is losing two of their biggest assets, which we spoke about last episode. So, and there's not very many Fords in Xfinity. Like,
I mean, there's only Cole and Riley, and then Haley, and then
the seed cars.
The seed cars. So that's 5 Fords. Or wait, is it, who's teammates with Haley? Is it Brett?
You're thinking Brett Moffitt, but they don't run that car. They only run the 15.
That's true, they don't.
So
that's only 5.
So the 15, the 4 seed cars, the 2 Haas or Stewart Haas, and then Joey Gaze. Is Joey Gaze still Ford?
For this weekend, there's 8 total Fords.
Okay.
Next
yeah.
Hold on,
in
wait.
A.
Is it Joey Gaze?
But
Are
like,
they still running
but
Ford?
like in general, how many Fords is it though, without adding like extra cars in there?
Let me see. Let me see. Let me.
But for this weekend, there's Cole, there's Brad Perez, Haley,
Oh,
uh,
SS Greenlight.
Igel,
Yeah, SS Greenlight is a Ford team.
Kyle Sieg, Blaine, Maddie D, Ryan Sieg, and then Riley.
Okay, so the four teams: Stuart Haas, AM Racing, um, RSS, SS Greenlight, and 8 cars. Which actually I thought, hold on, is it 30? Oh, Joey Gaze went to Toyota. I thought they were still Ford. So they would still have 6 Fords if they took away Stuart Haas. But the biggest contender in the Fords is,
It's Stuart Haas.
I mean, no, I'm saying like besides them.
Oh,
So
yeah.
would be RSS. One, because they have 4 cars, and 2, if you look at like their average finish, like they're doing better than Haley. I don't know who they always have. I think SS Greenlight might switch up drivers, so I'm not too sure where they always finish. But yeah, so the next biggest Ford team in the Xfinity series is Ryan Sieg Racing. So it's in Ford's best interest to keep the Stuart Haas Xfinity team running, because that's the only Ford team which Ryan Sieg is really the only one out of the Sieg cars that could contend for wins. But a lot of the times, those cars are partially built by Stuart Haas. So they kind of lose their backing. So again, it is in Ford's best interest to keep the Stuart Haas Xfinity cars running, because they are the 2 cars that are contending for wins in the Xfinity series.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, okay, let's move on. We talked like at least 45 minutes about NASCAR just alone. On to INDYCAR. There was a little bit of not really controversy, but they got a little heated in IndyCar this week. But first, the number 4 car for Chip Ganassi and the 15 for Ray Hall Letterman Lanigan Racing got a 6th place grid drop after Indy for unapproved engine changes. And this weekend, Joseph Newgarden and Will Power actually did a helmet swap, which is kind of sad to think about, because a lot of people are speculating that Will Power is going to be retiring because of this helmet swap. Just kind of, which I don't want. I love Will Power. I finally got to meet Will Power last year, and I love him very much and would like to see him continue racing. But Joseph Newgarden actually got a multi-year extension on his contract before actually I think it was the middle of the weekend. I think they announced it on like Saturday or something.
They did.
But on to the race weekend. They raced in the streets of Detroit, and there was actually a physical altercation after one of the practice sessions. Santino Ferrucci started shoving Kyle Kirkwood, blaming Kyle for turning in on Ferrucci, which if you look at the footage, you see Ferrucci turn out to make the turn, to go back into the racing line to make the turn, and he turns directly into Kyle Kirkwood. and then Santino Ferrucci is the one that's upset and yells at Kyle Kirkwood saying, "Don't turn into me." Kyle didn't even pull out of his line. What are you talking about? I'm so confused. And so during this altercation, Santino Ferrucci also throws digs at Colton Herta, Kyle Kirkwood's teammate, and yells at Kirkwood about Colton Herta, and is like, basically yelling like, you need to get your little boyfriend. Like, that's word for word. That's what Santino Ferrucci said. Called Colton Herta Kyle Kirkwood's little boyfriend on the first day of Pride Month.
Oh.
So Santino Ferrucci is getting flamed on Twitter because of that. And Colton Herta gets interviewed and takes the, like, literally, like, this is the reaction I had. I literally slapped my hand over my face because of the words that came out of Colton Herta's mouth. He goes, "Well, he's driving a Penske car to 20th every week." Oh my god!
Wow.
Colton Herta. Oh my god. But anyway, even with Santino Ferrucci being upset about this weekend and taking all these digs at Colton Herta and Kyle Kirkwood, Colton Herta goes out and gets pole. So, shuts everyone down, right? So, into the race, Teo Pourchaire in turn 1, lap 1, tags Will Power, spins Will, and it causes a stack up with like 3 or 4 cars behind him. Unfortunately, like, Teo, like, he's a rookie. Like, I love the kid. He's Formula 2 champion. But he got in there a little too hot. And he's getting a lot of hate for that online, because of that incident. But lap 16, you had rookie Simpson, Simpson is a rookie. There you go. His name is not Rookie. And Helio Castroneves. And the way that it happened, Santino Ferrucci hit Helio Castroneves from behind, spinning him, and it collected Simpson. So, Santino Ferrucci is just trying to be in the headlines this weekend or something. And, unfortunately, our boy, Scotty Mack, slid sideways, tagged a tire barrier into the wall. Lap 36, we had some rain, so kind of threw a wrench in everybody's plans. Had some people, like, had to swap to the rain tires. Lap 41-ish, I don't exactly know when this happened, but VK and Will Power made contact after the restart. Joseph Newgarden got an equipment interference and almost ran over other pit crew members of the team that was in the stall in front of him. So what happened is, so the way an IndyCar pit stop works is it's like a Formula One pit stop. You have the members on both sides of the car, and the car comes into the middle of those people. And with the wheel gun, the front tire changer has to throw it back over the car to get it to the wall side of the car. The tire changer did not get it over there quick enough. It basically grabbed what would be the passenger side of the car and turned Joseph Newgarden towards the pit wall. And he missed these pit crew members by about that much. Like, awesome heads up to those guys for paying attention. But, like, if he would have been, like, 6 inches closer, he probably would have took out some of their ankles. Like, that's how close he was. So with that, it kind of ruined his race, because he was having a lot of issues. He ended up 6 laps down at the end of the race, I believe. Lap 46, Herta, it wasn't really a lockup, I would say, but he just had no grip, trying to get into a turn, going in there way too hot, missed the turn, goes straight into the runoff, and it kind of ruins his race. Lap 53, there was actually major contact between Roman Grosjean and Christian Lundgaard, with I believe it was Christian on top of Roman Grosjean's car. Like, so the front end of Lundgaard's car was up off the ground. Then you had lap 63, Stingray Robb went into the tire barrier. Honestly, because of our boy Scott McLaughlin, just gave him a little tap, going into a turn and kind of shoved him into the wall. And lap 70, Joseph Newgarden spins, and it ends up collecting Alex Palou, because Alex just had nowhere to go with the way that Joseph spun. And lap 81, again, Joseph Newgarden makes contact with the brawl, breaks a toe link, so he kind of has to limp it around the track to try and get that fixed. And in the final laps, Marcus Armstrong was actually running second, really, really well with Marcus Armstrong, but Marcus Ericsson passes him in the past couple of laps, but could not catch Scott Dixon, who won the race. This is Marcus Armstrong's first IndyCar podium. This is his first full season of IndyCar. He used to run in Formula 2. But yes, our boy Marcus Armstrong. Technically, if we were doing our picks by the Formula 1 rules, Molly would have gotten Marcus's placement correct, for third on the podium.
I picked Scott to win because he was my long shot.
Yes. Yep. But all 3 Arrow McLaren drivers got top 10 in Detroit. The lowest one was Teo, who finished 10th. And during this race, you didn't see Tom Blomqvist on the track, which was because Meyershank Racing benched him for at least Detroit and Road America, and which is why you saw Helio Castroneves on track. But yeah, that was the rundown of Detroit. On to Formula 1, which there isn't much. Just some kind of actually total switch up, which I feel like it's not that big of a news, because like it doesn't seem surprising. But Esteban Ocon is departing from Alpine at the end of the 2024 season. Where's he going to go? Who's going to take that seat? Hot take. Listen. Jack Doohan, Alpine 2025. Hear me out. Please. Get that boy a Formula 1 seat, okay? See what he can do for a season. I just want to know. Then you had Lando out there playing soccer with, I think, had to do with PlayStation, I think. And apparently could potentially be getting a tattoo. Him and CEO of McLaren Racing, Zach Brown, could potentially be getting a tattoo for his Miami win. So Zach already has a tattoo for Monza, where Daniel and Lando got a 1-2 a couple years back. But now they got to do something for Lando's. So they could potentially be getting a tattoo for Lando's win. And the rumor is that Daniel is going to be staying at Visa Cash App RB. So we'll see how all of those seats play out now that we still don't know where Carlos is going. We don't know if Checo's gonna keep his seat with how well he's doing in the championship. Like, we don't know who's getting that second Mercedes seat. Like, it's gonna be a complete silly season by the end of this year. So we'll see how that goes. But on to this weekend, NASCAR is going to Sonoma, another road course, which actually INDYCAR, or not INDYCAR, oh my gosh, Xfinity has road courses back to back. But obviously, I think, is this the first? No, it's not. Did they go? Is this the first road course of the season for? No, they went to Coda. Yeah, okay, they've been to Coda. This isn't the first road course of the Cup season. I'm doing great. I can't keep anything straight. But they're in Sonoma, California. It's only Xfinity and Cup this weekend.
Those trucks won't be running until the end of the month.
Yep, they won't be running. They won't be back until Nashville.
That's depressing.
So
no more Christian.
So, who you guys got for the Xfinity race?
Dude, I've had my picks down for since the moment I woke up this morning. I
Okay.
looked. Okay.
I got my picks down. Cool.
Well, I
You want
have.
to go first, Sarah?
Oh, what?
You want to go first?
No, you can go first.
I go
Oh,
first?
wait. Yeah, you can go first. I'll go second.
So for Xfinity, my winner is Riley, and my long shot is Sam.
Okay.
Well, I have Ty as the winner because it's no secret that he knows how to run around course, and then I have Sammy as my long shot. I think it's funny that you did Sam and then I did Sammy.
You know, I'm gonna see how this goes. I'm gonna go SVG for winner.
Yes.
And then
Is he even in there this weekend?
Hmm?
For Xfinity?
Yeah, he's running the 97.
Oh. I thought I
Which,
saw something. It was the 16. I saw something about it for the Cup, but I was thinking someone else.
got it.
He's not in it for.
Gosh, I'm trying not to pick the same as you guys. But I mean, you guys know I want my boy to run good, but like I don't know how he normally does on at Sonoma. Wait, who did you guys pick?
I picked Riley and Sam.
I picked
Sammy
Ty
and
and
Ty.
Sammy.
Okay. I guess I'll go Jesse Love as long shot.
Considering that last week was not it for him. Look, last week was rough.
All right. For the cup race at Sonoma, oh gosh. I think I'm gonna go Daniel Suarez.
I'm gonna go for my winner, Blaney, and my long shot, Michael McDowell.
Okay, the Michael McDowell makes sense because he's good on road courses. But you're coming completely left field with Ryan Blaney at Sonoma.
Welcome to the world of road courses where there is no absolute best person on road courses anymore because it's been completely thrown off.
I'm gonna go Daniel Suarez as my winner, and I'm gonna go Tyler Reddick as my long shot.
Well, no. Here. No. Well, I'm whatever. I'm gonna say right. I'm like second guessing myself. Whatever. I'm just gonna say Alex is my winner, and then I don't know for the long shot, if I'm being honest. Whatever. I'll say Truex has a long shot considering he won last year. Yeah, Truex won last year.
Yeah.
So I'll say him as a long shot.
I completely forgot about that race then.
I only know because I have a list of everybody that won last year for truck, everybody that won last year for Xfinity, and everybody that won last year for Cup. And that's basically what my picks have been based on is who won last year.
So
I'll say Alex as the winner, and then I'll say Truex as a long shot.
So normally what I do whenever I'm doing my fantasy picks, I I did a lot better last year because I would actually watch all the sessions. I would watch everybody in practice and qualifying before choosing my fantasy lineup. And I beat all of the guys like by a solid 300 points. So, but
It's so easy.
now I suck. Now I'm doing terribly. Um
Well, to be fair, you can't really base it off of qualifying and practice anymore because they could be good in that, and then you get to the race blowing up, and you're like, cool, that's fantastic. That's what I want to hear when I pick you.
but
Yeah, no.
um so we actually have all three sports that we cover this week running. So now we're going to do our INDYCAR picks for Road America. I am gonna go Kyle Kirkwood as my winner and Felix Rosenquist as my long shot.
So I flipped it. My bad. I said Pato as my winner, and then I just did long shot as Marcus Armstrong.
Okay. Dude, our boy's gonna get close. Marcus is. I love Marcus.
I'm gonna
Alright,
do
Molly.
Joseph as my winner, and then Alexander Rossi as my long shot.
Okay. Alrighty. So now we're gonna do our F1 picks. We're excluding Max. For those who have not seen our Formula One picks, it's been a couple weeks. We exclude Max because we always believe that Max is most likely going to win the race. And the way we do it, we pick a winner and a long shot that also can translate to second and third on the podium. So,
I just said double McLaren podium.
Fair. Okay.
That's what I have.
Said Carlos and George Russell.
Okay. I'm a what? I want to say Fernando Alonso and okay, wait, you said double McLaren. You said George and who?
I said Carlos and then George.
Okay. I'm gonna say Fernando and gonna be honest, I really want a Lance Stroll Canada podium. I would love to see that. So there you go. There's my long shot. Because that will most likely be a long shot. But there you go. There's our picks for the weekend. Very busy weekend of racing. Got a whole 5 different races. No, 4. Sorry, we don't have trucks. We don't have trucks this week. Sorry. 4 races this weekend.
It's so depressing.
And 3 of those being ran on Sunday. So.
Cool.
Yeah. We're gonna have our multi-screens again. Luckily, Formula One is actually in the Eastern time zone. So we don't have to be up the crack of dawn to watch it. Or the middle of the night. So, but it's gonna be a fun one. Montreal, and then again Sonoma, and Road America. So, we'll see how this goes, and you'll hear all about it next week. But I think we are going to sign off. Guys, got anything else?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, let's close it out. Well, thank you guys. This has been the 17th episode of the Trackside Girls podcast. And let's do the outro. It goes peace,
Peace.
love, and race cars. All right. Good night, guys.